Welcome back to Sports Dump, Lewis County's only sports podcast, sponsored by Elam's Home Furnishings and Mattress Gallery, Goebel Septic, and AmeriCool Heating and Cooling. I'm Aaron Van Tile, joined tonight by Chronicle sports editor Alec Dietz and Chronicle sports reporter Josh Kirschenbaum. It is Wednesday, January 4th, and do you want to say it, Alec?
No, not yet.
What, really?
No.
All that build-up, we did all that homework.
It's coming later.
All right, well...
You gonna do this again? Or?
You know what? It's just
so hot right now.
just use that one. Why not?
The fun does... well, you'll know later.
Spoilers.
Let's press buttons.
That's just off the rails already. Great stuff. It was the holiday and non-league stretch, and it was fun, according to these notes.
Was it?
For some people.
How did I know Alec was going to be like, was it fun?
I don't know. It wasn't really that fun, honestly. I would have rather had all the time off, but, you know.
The fun police over here. The Jack Q. Pearson Holiday Classic occurred in Menlo. Morton White Pass was upset by Ilwaco, 59-58. Are they on fraud watch?
Wasn't fun for the T-Wolves there.
No, they are not.
Okay. Josh Salguero had 28, but Ilwaco got 49 points from Alex West and Kyle Morris.
It was funny because when MWP beat Valley in its first game, and I was talking to Kramer afterwards, he was like, yeah, Ilwaco's next. They got these two guards, this West kid and this Morris kid. They're not huge, but they really shoot. And then the next day he called again and was like, yeah, it was those guys.
They really shoot. Were either of you guys out there for that one?
No.
Okay. So the jury is still out on Ilwaco. Nobody has seen them.
They lost to Adna.
They did lose to Adna.
They lost to Tootle Lake.
Okay. They lost to Tootle Lake?
By 30.
Wow. So Tootle Lake, maybe...
We'll get there, but yeah.
I mean, MVP beat Tootle by 40, so I don't know.
Disarray.
I think we figured something like this could happen. Someone could come out hot and shoot MWP out of the gym.
I was definitely surprised, and it was surprising to listen to Kramer say it was he thought it was mostly on their defense, and I feel like most of the time when you have these good teams, you have everybody has quiet nights offensively, but the really great teams can fall back on their defense, and the fact that they had a showing where the defense might have been the issue that came up, I think was a little surprising, and it's definitely something you want to get out of the way the last week in December instead of the last week in January.
It's true. Also at the Jack Q. Pearson Holiday Classic, the Adna boys went 2-0, 2 close wins over Ilwaco and Willapa Valley, and the Adna girls went 2-0 with 2 less close wins over Ilwaco and Valley. Meanwhile, at the Mount Vernon Holiday Classic, this was held in Mount Vernon.
Your favorite type of tournament.
Yeah, it was an actual tournament.
Yeah.
It's great. You'd love to see it. The Montserrat girls beat RV Lummi. What's the RV?
Received votes.
Oh, I see what you did there. Very clever. Good work, Josh.
What?
It was a good bit.
It was a bit?
Then
I'm doing bits without even trying now. This is great.
Then they beat number 1 Mount Vernon Christian. Then they lost in overtime to number 3, now number 1, Nia Bay.
Great run for them.
Good run, yeah. Montserrat boys beat number 7 Lummi, then beat Mount Vernon Christian, then lost to Wahkiakum in the finals. So not a bad run for them, losing to Wahkiakum. There's probably no shame in that. Is Wahkiakum, are they good this year?
They might be for real.
They might be good. Okay.
Could be. We'll know this week. They're playing MWP on Thursday.
Yeah, okay. I think this was definitely good. That was a good weekend for Mossy. I don't know if that just like showed up in their schedule late, or they actually like got a late invite or decided to go at the last minute,
or if it was on the schedule the whole time
and we just missed it. But yeah, both the boys and the girls, I mean, that's a good slate of games to really test yourself. And again, I mean, the girls especially, but the boys too, there's not a lot of those league games they're about to get into this next month aren't going to be the closest. And this was a good barometer. See, I remembered it this week.
There it is. And then just last night, the Napavine girls blew out Tumwater 49-24. Hayden Count scored 18. Morgan Hamilton had 13. Napavine led by a slim 19-16 margin at halftime and held Tumwater to just 8 points in the second half. Napavine girls, for real?
Yeah, could be. I think their defense is sort of a lot of the best girls teams. The defense is sort of the calling card, and really what Josh failed to bring up on the notes was they almost doubled Tumwater's rebounds. So they took like double, like I think they took 30 shots in the second half to Tumwater's 15. Anytime you're doing that, you're dominating the game. You know, you're controlling the pace, you're controlling the boards, all the shot attempts you're getting. That's only going to help you. So they looked impressive against, obviously Tumwater's still shorthanded. They're still without Kylie Waltemeyer, but who is by far their best scorer. But to get a win over a ranked 2A team, that's a big deal. So they also haven't played anyone in their league yet, really, of substance. We're waiting on adding a matchup or a Rainier matchup. So it'll be interesting to see once they get into the league schedule where not that non-league games mean less than league games, but they do actually. Yep. So
yeah. Well, I do think on the other side of it, you don't want to look too much into the bad, but Tumwater is starting to spiral a little bit. And obviously, Waltemeyer is out, but they're starting to hit the spot where they either need to figure out something new without her or just get her back. And I'm not really sure what the timetable is on that, but they're definitely there. I mean, without her on the floor, they're struggling to score. They're really asking Reagan Brewer to do everything offensively, like leading that offense. She's playing point guard, and they're wanting her to take a lot of shots. I don't really think that's her game. She's really a defensive specialist who gets a lot of points in transition.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're in a spot, and they've again got plenty of time to figure it out and plenty of time to get healthy. But yeah, they're having to figure some stuff out right now.
They're also, as bad as things may seem to be, they're undefeated in league. So
yeah, they do play WF West
next week,
Tuesday. Yeah,
yeah. So yeah. So again, they're in a bad spot, but again, you'd rather get these sort of games out of the way in non-league.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see because Waltemeyer comes back and she provides the scoring, but she's a guard too. So it'll be interesting to see how much she affects the rebounding coming back because they're not big,
right? So that'll be interesting to watch.
All right, and then one of the other big games last night was Tumwater lost to 3A Timberline, and Josh, you were there.
I was there.
Would you like to tell us what happened?
Timberline's a good 3A team. They got Brooklyn Hicks. He's a 4-star guard. He's committed to play at UNLV next year. Mm-hmm. And
I saw his dunks.
His dunks were very nice.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
He gets up. And they honestly contained him. He's a 4-star guy who's going D1 next year. Like, for that, they did a pretty good job on him.
Yeah.
They actually, between Andrew Collins and Luke Brewer and Connor Hopkins, they took the ball off him a couple times, which was kind of impressive. There was just too much of him. And Timberline had another kid whose name I'm forgetting, who is not a 4-star commit, but still poured in 20 points. And he basically just was always open because, 3 guys are focused on the 4-star guy going to UNLV. So Tumwater's 7-4 now. All 4 they've lost 1 game to a 3A team. They lost 3 games to 4As. So they're just stacking their schedule with, the best of the best. And Josh Wilson was saying, hopefully this will make it easier when we play 2A teams. But he was also on the flip side, I'd like to win one of these games at some point. You can only take so many quality losses. I'm sure these will help going forward into 2A, but quality wins are better than quality losses.
And they've got some games in the league coming up that are pretty big. They got Black Hills on Friday. I'm assuming they're playing WF West pretty soon too. So another team that, again, while things don't seem to be great, I think they've lost 4 of the last 5 or whatever the number is. They're still undefeated in the league. So, long season left to go.
All right. Also last night we had some EBCO boys games.
Yeah, WF West beat the crap out of Aberdeen. Do you want me to talk about that?
They won 73-37.
Palindrome.
Yeah, they did. Look at that. Tyler Clatouche had 22. Mm-hmm. Soren Dalen, off nights, only 10 points.
He got tripled all night. So WF West had basically any 3-pointer they wanted for most of the game.
Yeah, it looks like it. Nice.
And they're shooting those now, which
kind of, yeah.
Which was the WF West problem earlier.
Yeah.
Who else? Anybody else play last night?
Centralia lost to Shelton by 28.
Okay. Any other girls' games?
Well, we could shout out Cohen Ballard.
Cohen Ballard scored 24 points for Centralia. That was a season high. That was good.
Great.
The problem was the rest of his team scored 16.
Okay. Well, maybe next time they'll score more than that.
Yeah, that would be good.
But he's a good shooter, I think.
And they've been waiting for him to sort of get it. I think he was dealing with some injuries.
Yeah, but he stepped up this year. Last year, he was sort of a bench piece, but he's kind of filled in and he's able to hit some shots and stuff. So if they can kind of fill some other gaps in their lineup, I do think they could test some teams. But also, they're really young and have a long ways to go.
Right. And Montserrat girls beat PL last night as well.
By a lot, yeah.
By quite a
Montserrat
margin.
girls good. PO girls still figuring things out. So Charlie Carper didn't score. I guess that is a big deal.
Wow. Yeah.
But they probably threw like 3 bodies at her. So, yeah. Other than Carper, PL is like all freshmen and 8th graders. So, they're still trying to figure out that lineup and get confidence for everybody else.
All right. This podcast brought to you by Gobel Septic, providing septic service and portable sanitation for Thurston, Lewis, Mason, Cowlitz, and Grays Harbor counties. They provide you with septic pumping, inspection, and riser installation, commercial septic pumping, grease trap services.
Ah, my favorite.
Yeah, you know it. And, of course, they will rent you a porta potty or a sink. You can visit gobelseptic.com or give them a call at 360-736-2167. And now let's learn a whole lot more about the C2BL boys. Alec?
This is where the fun begins.
There it is. Are we having fun yet?
This is where the fun actually begins. Those holiday tournaments,
Nothing. Don't mean
they're not even real tournaments.
Some of them are.
Yeah.
One in Mount Vernon.
Yeah.
Props to them.
Props to them.
It's not a real tournament. League play.
Sure.
League play? No, it should be. Just make the whole league season a
Just
tournament.
start wiping teams out after one game. If you don't win, you're done.
You're out by Christmas. Sorry, guys.
It's over.
C2BL Survivor Pool.
Yeah, I love it. Through 4-ish games in C2BL play, we've got 4 undefeated in league teams. These are teams who have not lost a game against fellow league mates. Adna, Morton White Pass, Napavine, and Wahkiakum are those 4. And we have 4 1-3 teams: Rainier, Toledo, Tootle Lake. Tootle Lake.
Yeah.
And on Alaska, we have 2 winless teams, Kalama and Winlock. And there is basically no crossover within those first 2 groups.
So it's a weird schedule when you look back on it. The reason there are so many 1-3 teams is all the teams in those second groups have played 3 of the undefeated teams and 2 of the winless teams. Like, I don't remember the exact specifics, but like
Rainier beat Winlock, but Rainier lost to Napavine, lost to Adna, and lost to Wahkiakum.
So obviously the 4 undefeated teams haven't played each other.
Yeah.
And the only game between teams in that second group was Tootle Lake beat on Alaska. But like Toledo hasn't played Rainier or Tootle or Ani, which is how you get those like 2 distinct levels.
Right.
Yeah.
And this week that's going to change.
So this is where it gets interesting.
Okay, so games Thursday night in the C2BL. Wahkiakum plays at Morton White Pass, big game. Adna plays at Napavine, and Rainier plays at Toledo. Wahkiakum at MWP, who you guys got?
More in White Pass.
Probably MWP.
You want to
The tough games, the tough place to play game.
MWP plus 9?
No clue.
No clue. No clue. I haven't seen Wahkiakum this year. They look balanced and deep and like they can shoot. I wouldn't be surprised if Wahkiakum won, but I just like MWP in a bounce back.
Adna at Napavine, who you guys got?
I think Napavine.
Napavine plus 5?
I don't do lines. I think Napavine's
Why
gonna win
not?
it.
You do the line.
I just did.
So what do you have?
Napavine plus 5. There you go.
I think Adna's going to win.
What's Napavine's record?
7-2.
2.
Only lost to those 2 teams on the east side.
Oh yeah, okay.
And James Gross averaging 32 points a game.
It's a lot of points.
Kale Stanley getting like 10 assists per game. Read
Yeah.
my article.
I did see that article. That was very nice. Rainier at Toledo. I have no idea on this one.
I think so Rainier was out 2 of the Meldrum boys.
Only 2?
2 of them.
They injured or sick?
No idea. But they were out 2 of them. Okay. So anyway, the third one went off and they beat Mossy Rock anyway. But if they're still out Jake and Josh Meldrum, I think Toledo wins. But I think if they have all 3, then Rainier wins that game.
Okay. Rainier plus 4?
Sure.
There you go.
I mean, Toledo's the team that they've been a step away for like 2 years now.
Yeah.
And
including in all of the games. Like
Yes.
they're like a couple plays away from like
Every single
potentially
game.
beating Adna.
I watched them
Every time.
stay within 8 of Napavine for like the entire game.
Right.
When they figure it out, and I think, and really like those types of teams aren't going to beat the Adnas or MWPs or Napavines. But the real question is whether they can win these sort of middle of the road. Like they could finish, I could see them finishing 5th in league if they really figure things out. And the question is, do they finish 5th or do they finish 8th?
Right.
Yeah. Let's see. A couple games coming up next Tuesday. Morton White Pass at Adna. Big one.
Yeah. Kramer's going to be mad when we go to that one.
Yeah, he will.
Well, you didn't come to Morton. I did go to Morton, Chad. All right. So it's okay if I go to Adna to cover you, please.
Stop disrespecting Morton White Pass. You know Chad hates that.
I know. It was really funny. I think they were playing another one of our teams, and I think the convention is you let the home team call in the score or whatever. But I posted the Adna game, and then he calls me or texts me almost right after I post the Adna one, and he was like, "Hey, did the other team like send this in? Let me make sure you get our stuff." And I'm like, "Man, you saw me post the Adna thing, and you're like, you need to get MVP in there. I get it." I get it, Chad.
He's just hustling. He's always hustling.
No, I'm giving him a hard time.
Tudor Lake at Rainier.
I think this should
Tuesday.
just be Zach Swanson 1-on-3 versus the Meldrums personally.
I'm in. Yeah, I would enjoy that.
We're disrespecting Rainier a little bit. Like the Meldrums are like the key pieces, but they have some pieces around. Like Hunter Howell at 13 and win against Mossy. Gavin Owen's been pretty good. So I want to shout those guys out because they aren't just the 3 Meldrums.
All right. And then next Thursday, Toledo at Onalaska, Napfine at Wahkiakum, and also for fun, Rainier at Morton White Pass. These are not quite as dicey. Well, the Napfine at Wahkiakum game could be. But also, like, what are the odds that Napfine, Wahkiakum, and Morton White Pass are all still undefeated in league as of next Thursday?
5%.
It'll be low, but yeah, I could see it.
I think all the teams are going to beat up on each other.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be. I think everyone is going to have at least one loss in there.
Well, I think the question in there is then, is there going to be any movement between those two groups? Is any of the currently undefeated teams going to kind of fall out of it?
I think the top 4 is pretty solid. I feel good about the top 4. I think Tootle could sneak in there just because they have like the star power. But I think that top 4 is solid in whatever order it finishes out in.
Yeah. I mean, sort of going off of we haven't seen them, I feel like Wahkiakum's sort of the odd one out in that top 4, but they're beating everybody who plays them, and they're beating Mossy, and they're beating Owako, so yeah, they
get their chance to prove it on Thursday. Yeah. I mean, Adna, Napavine boys are always really good, right? I mean, it could be any year. That's going to be a good game. And Wahkiakum MWP also on Thursday, so is
that in Morton or Randall?
Morton. You want to go?
All the way to Morton White Pass tomorrow night? No, I have plans.
Not Morton White Pass, Morton.
All the way to Morton White Pass. What's going on with the Evco boys? Have they played any league games?
They have.
They have.
Yeah, you already saw Black Hills upset WF West. You got the rivalries this week, Centralia, WF West.
Ooh, what are the odds in the Swamp Cup? What do we
Not
like?
good, I think, if you're a Tiger.
Yeah.
All right. Are they boys and girls this week?
Yes.
And then you've also got Black Hills Tumwater, which I think the boys at least.
Those are the only 2 unbeaten teams left.
I think
in
if you're
league,
Black Hills, you see. I know they're to 3A and 4A ranked teams, but if you're Black Hills, you see what Tumwater's got a couple losses. You got them at home. Black Hills has been winning some of its games recently. I think they're on like a 3-game winning streak.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got a crack at them, I think this might be it.
Yeah. Okay. This podcast is also brought to you by Elam's Home Furnishings and Mattress Gallery. You can give them a call. Can you give them a call? Yeah, of course you can. 360-807-1211.
I'll call them right now.
You won't.
You can visit their showroom at 1530 South Gold Street in Centralia. Did you know they have promotional financing available with a Synchrony home credit card?
Wow.
How do you feel about that?
You are
Pretty-
reading off their website right now.
Pretty good.
You just roll in there and slap down that Synchrony home credit card and be like, I would like that table to set my record player on, please.
Luckily, I have I don't have that credit card.
You a American Express guy? Yeah. Elam's Home Furnishings, great sponsor. Happy to have them. You can also email them, info@elamshf.com, and visit their website. There's all kinds of cool stuff there. Elamshf, ELAMSHF.com.
Thank you, Elams. Your money is helpful.
And now for the AP Poll Watch. There it is.
Takes so long.
Did we ever talk about the girls' teams?
No, we'll talk about them now.
No, wait, for the C2BL?
Just for anything. We've only talked about boys.
I mean, that's like next week because all the good games are.
All right.
Yeah.
They're
AP Poll.
similar logjam at the top of the C2BL girls, but all the fun games happen next week. So
All right, we'll get into it then.
Gotcha. Okay.
AP Poll. On the girls' side, in the 2As, WF West is number 3 and Tumwater is number 9. How did Tumwater maintain that after? Did this
No
poll come out
idea.
before they lost to Napavine?
No.
but all of the SB Live articles and the SB Live rankings did.
I see.
So
So
we'll get into how votes happen, but yeah.
All right. In the 2B girls poll, number 1, Adna?
With no first place votes.
Adna, question mark? How'd they pull that off? Napa, number 5, Rainier, number 6. C2BL girls, good this year? Question
Could
mark?
be. It feels like last year where they're getting kind of respect just for being probably the deepest league, but
Yeah.
But also, I know nothing about the East Side girls.
history says the C2B is not that good compared to these teams across the state.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time a C2BL girls team won a state title.
It was Mossy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was in 2007.
Yeah. So, I mean,
I do remember the last time they won a state title. I was
it
there.
could be different this year. Napavine did go over and beat Brewster pretty handily over the holiday break, and I think Brewster's ranked in there too. So, there is that, but yeah, I mean, I'll believe it when I see it, at the state tournament. And last year there was hype for some teams, and most of the C2B teams were 2-and-outs.
Yeah.
So.
Adna at number 1, are they the best C2BL team, do you think?
As of this minute, yes.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
When they
But
play
there's plenty of
Napavine
league
and-
left. But they've beaten Rainier, and that's the most signature league victory for anyone so far in that league. So
All right. And then in the 1Bs, Mossy Rock is number 4. Is that accurate? Is that fair?
No,
they should be higher.
it should be higher.
Okay.
They beat Okay. And anyway, poll was messed up again. They beat Mount Vernon Christian, and Mount Vernon Christian got a first place vote. So someone's just not paying attention. But Nia Bay is number 1, and they deserve to be number 1. But Mossy Rock basically competed in an invite with all the best 1B teams and finished second. So they should be ranked second.
Okay.
Yeah.
On the boys' side, in the 2As, Tumwater is number 6, despite losing, 4 games so far? They're at 7-4?
Yeah, they've only lost to 3A and 4As, though.
And the 2As are in a weird spot because you've got like half the top 10 in the 2As is like that. You've got teams that are 2 or 3 or 4 losses, and all of them are to ranked 3A teams. So
Yeah. In the 2Bs, Morton White Pass is tied for 3rd. Who are they tied with?
Colfax.
Number 1.
sure.
Davenport. And deservingly so. They did lose last night, but they were out Tennessee Rainwater.
Oh, yeah.
And they lost to defending champ Liberty. Good old Jake Jeske.
Who's number 2 in the 2Bs? Brewster?
Burbank, I think.
Burbank. Yes.
Burbank.
Burbank. They got Reve on the coaching staff.
Oh, yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
I think Chad told me
Brock.
that.
And his dad is back coaching. He's coaching the Ellensburg girls,
Who are
I heard
okay.
that too, yeah.
who are, okay.
Yeah, they're fine. They're the greatest team ever, according to Alec, right?
I do think they're the best girls team in the state right now.
Let's see. Adna boys are number 5, and somebody gave them a first place vote. Who was it?
Not us.
Which
who's-
narrows it down to 4 whole people.
Who's Jordan got voting down there?
Probably himself. Tootle Lake got a vote, so it has to be Jordan. Right?
Lining up
The,
all
Woodland,
the CTBL
the Woodland
teams?
boys got a vote. So
Did they?
Maybe
No,
Jordan's got 2
Jordan.
votes.
It can't be.
Napavine number 8. Out of Adna, Morton White Pass, and Napavine. If you guys were gamblers, Josh, I know you're not. You've been very clear on that. Who would you put your money on to be the C2BL champ at the end of the year?
Morton White Pass.
Still Morton White Pass.
Okay.
My order, though, would be MWP, Napavine, Adna as of this moment.
Yeah. The thing that threw me through a loop was I had to put Napavine below Brewster
Yes.
because they lost. So I don't know. I was like ranking them, and I put them. I think I had them all in a row, and then
All the East Side teams are beating up on each other.
Yeah.
Like I think, obviously Bruce or God, what it all went down. I think Burbank lost to Davenport. Davenport just lost to Liberty. I think Lake Roosevelt lost to Brewster. But yeah, so they're all beating up on each other over there. So it makes it's a little less chaotic on the West Side, which is not really normally the case. Normally,
as we just
yes,
said,
obviously, but normally like all the West Side teams are beating up on each other while like, you know, a team like Brewster goes undefeated and beats the crap out of everybody, and they're like clearly the best team. So, the depth of teams over on the East Side and the 2B ranks this year is impressive. There's a lot of good ones.
In the 1Bs, Mossrock is number 5 and Oakville's number 9. Has Oakville slowed down a little bit, or are they just missing pieces?
They were missing some pieces earlier. They did play Adna at full strength. I think I talked about that game last week, and just got blown out. So,
but now their pieces are back and they're in the league, so they're about to start winning.
they're about to be winning
lot.
by a lot. But at the same time, like, you know, we need to kind of see them prove that they deserve a ranking like this. I had them in my top 10, but it's they're sort of on the border there, just because, you know, they beat a Centralia team that just really isn't that good. They're a 2A team, but still. They beat River Ridge, who also, it turns out, is not very good, even though they're a 3A team. And got blown out by Adna, lost to Chief Lashai.
Lost to PL.
Minus
pieces.
Without, like, almost their whole roster, apparently. So, anyway. So they're going to be kind of floating through league. And, you know, hopefully they did enough and got enough film to sort of learn, you know, what they need to work on to try to be a serious contender and, you know, make it past regionals this year.
All right. This podcast is also brought to you by AmeriCool Heating and Cooling. If you are
so hot right now,
call AmeriCool Heating and Cooling.
I like how you remembered that one.
Yeah, you like that? And they will cool you off.
What if I'm too cool?
Then they will heat you up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we don't have a button for that. It's so cold.
We need like an Arnold
Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Ice to see you.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age.
AmeriCool Heating and Cooling. You can call their 24/7 emergency service line at 360-273-3300. Although, if you just have a regular need, you should click the request an appointment button on their website, which is west.americoolonline.com. They're open 24/7 and located at 21822 Old Highway 99, just north of Centralia. Your comfort is their business. Good games coming up the next few days.
Yeah.
What do you guys cover tomorrow? Who's got Swamp Cup?
I think I got Swamp Cup.
Oh,
Boys.
man.
It was a banger last year. I don't think it will be
I
this
hope
year.
it's a banger this year, but
That would be nice.
yeah. They would need everything to go. Centralia would need everything to go right.
Yeah. Adna Napine boys. Alec, did you draw that one?
Yeah. But then I get the girls' Swamp Cup.
Oh, that's nice that you guys are working it out like
Friday.
that. And then Wakaika Morton White Pass boys in Morton, not Randall, is
Yep.
also Thursday night.
You could go. Oh, and if we want to give a shout out to wrestling, the Wrestling Swamp Cup is also Thursday.
And we have covered wrestling.
Yeah, you guys should cover some wrestling.
No. I said we have covered
You
wrestling.
should send Crawler to shoot that.
I think that's going to try to be the plan.
Good. Let's see. Friday night, Girls Swamp Cup in WF West. Tumwater at Black Hills, girls and boys. With the Pioneer Bowl, is that what they call that?
Yeah.
Yeah. The football thing is called the Pioneer Bowl. I'm not sure if they refer to anything else.
Yeah, if they get mad at me for calling it that, it'll be the Tumwater Tussle.
I like the Pioneer Bowl better. Why
That's
is it
my
the Pioneer,
threat.
Why is it the Pioneer Bowl?
I just got here, so.
Well, it's like the Swamp
Just
Cup.
like the Pioneers.
Like the Swamp Cup is just the football game, but everyone's kind of like sort of adopted it, but like not really.
Well, yeah, because we kind of forced it down their throats the last 15 years.
Exactly. So, like, technically, though, none of them are like, you know, sponsored or have their own cup or whatever.
Yeah, but
so.
I'm like the actual, like even the football, why is it the Pioneer Bowl?
Why is it?
Yeah.
I have
Pioneers to
no
do with it?
clue.
Just look into that.
Yeah, I should ask.
And then PL at Nacelle Boys is also Friday.
I mean, I kind of want to see how, I don't want to say how bad it is in Nacelle, but they're 2-6, and I didn't think at the
I think they're like 4-5 now.
Okay,
so a little bit
like
better.
at the beginning of the season, I did not expect to be saying that PL could maybe take their spot on the pecking order, but I think a good showing in PL could jump them sort of in those power rankings.
I bet Chris Phelps is going to have fun coaching against Billy Olson. That's my hot take for the game.
They're actually, Mossy Rock is playing the PL boys tonight, which is kind of a big game. That game went down to the wire during, I think it was the district tournament. Mossy Rock needed like a last second layup or something to win the game. It was pretty bonkers. So, should be pretty competitive.
And then Saturday, we've got Eatonville at Rainier, doubleheader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Doubleheader.
Monday, Tenino at Chief Leshai boys. What's Tenino been up to? Did they play any Christmas tournaments or anything?
No, their last game was the one when they played Acosta, I think.
Okay.
They did play.
Wait, no, sorry. Toledo's last game was Acosta.
Yeah, they played in Raymond, and I believe they they lost to Raymond actually, and they beat whoever else was there. I don't remember who it was. They beat somebody, but then they lost to Raymond. They're still out a couple pieces, and still trying to figure out how all the pieces mesh together with the new coach. So
I think as has become a theme saying on the show when Chief Leshai is involved, points, always the chance for lots of points.
Always take the over.
Always take the over. I mean, Noah Scow is bucket, so could have points, lots of points.
And then Tuesday, a lot of good games. WF West at Tumwater Girls. That's a nice little rivalry game.
Yeah.
Willapa Valley at Mossy Rock Girls. That could also be good.
Yeah.
Morton White Pass at Adna Boys. That'll be a good one.
Yeah, I think so.
Should be.
Yeah. I think we're into a good couple weeks between the C2BL and the EVCO. It's going to be, this upcoming week is really going to be a fun reintroduction to league play.
Right. And just, not that these Christmas tournaments and non-league games aren't fun to cover, but it is nice when you finally get back into the games that actually feel like they matter.
Yeah.
You talk to a coach after, I'm sure you talked to Josh Wilson after the Timberline loss, and he's not that upset. He's like, we played a 3A team. It's non-league. They have a D1 player on their team. Oh, well, of course you'd rather win, but you just feel the stakes so much more in those games. The teams know each other. This is where it really gets fun. This is where the fun begins.
All right. And there's also Tootle at Rainier Boys on Tuesday night, but I kind of just want to close it on Alex saying, this is where the fun begins.
Oh, I don't think my voice is that gravelly.
I don't think Hayden Christensen's was either.
Not until he got yeah, there you go. That's better.
Anything else you guys want to add before we close it out?
Alec, how do you feel about sand?
I don't like sand.
It's coarse. Rough.
See
irritating.
next week.
Gets everywhere.